All right, y'all, what's been going on? So y'all saw in the last video that we got the LS in the Caprice bolted in, and we also put the two-wheel drive 2002 Yukon drive shaft in wheels. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about the truck drive-by cable wiring harness. I took everything out of the wiring harness that I would not need for the LS swap into the Caprice. So I'll probably put maybe, I don't know, maybe like an hour and a half into getting the plugs out of this harness. And I'm just going to go through what I took out. I took both of the downstream O2 sensors out. This was the coolant overflow sensor. This is for the AC compressor, because for the AC, it's going to use all the stuff from the 80-watt Caprice. I think this was the oil sensor plug that's on the oil pan. So those sensors, those are all the wires that go with it. One thing that I highly recommend you do is that just don't unloom it and just have wires going everywhere, because you're not really going to know where the wires should go or how they should be placed, and that could be a big issue. So I basically zip tied it at every split. So I know that this part of the harness goes this way, and that part of the harness goes that way, and then this harness goes this way, and then that part of the harness splits. So I did everything where it split, because one side goes to the left side, one side goes to the right side for the coil packs and injectors and all that stuff, transmission plug, yada yada, so on and so forth. I will insert some footage that I took on my Metal Wayfarer Gen 2s when I was going through just one sensor of wires. And then when we come back, this should be all loomed up and looking pretty. The wiring harness is all reloomed. I put it back in this box before I realized that I didn't show y'all what it looked like. But the wiring harness is done. I would say that you could remove the old wires you don't need in probably about an hour, hour and a half. I just kind of did it while I was watching YouTube in the garage. But you could probably do it probably about an hour, hour and a half. Like I said, the biggest thing is that just zip tie the areas where the loom splits when you take the old loom off. That will help you keep all of your wires running where they need to run. Because if you don't do that, then you could possibly loom some stuff too short where it's not going to reach, and then you have to kind of go through and be a big pain in the butt. So everything should be in the factory loom location for the most part. So I will say that I wish I would have done like that fabric loom stuff instead of this traditional loom, for sure. So here it is, all laid out. So of course you got your ECU stuff, and then the drive-by-wire stuff, and fuse box stuff, and P100 connector, which is going to be the connector for your gauges. And then this is going to be what is this? This is going to be starter, driver side block ground, driver side temp sensor. And this is gonna be like the driver side injectors and everything. And then this is gonna be the rear intake manifold stuff, and then the MAF. I think this is gonna be the O2 sensor, and this is gonna be rear block and passenger side injectors, and then oil sensor, cam sensor. This is going to be your transmission stuff there, and this transmission, and then that's going to be upstream O2 sensors. So I mean, the harness, like, people say that they're scared of the wiring, but in reality, it's all pretty simple. You plug all this stuff in where it needs to go. I labeled all my stuff when I removed it. And then the biggest thing after that is just getting your switched and cranked 12 volt on to go to whichever part that it goes to. Ground, 12 volt power, and then whichever one goes to your fuel pump. And that's pretty much it. So now that the wiring harness is done, I've gotten the majority of my fuel system stuff. I did just get some cheap JDM Speed 45 degree spark plug wires. I got the universal intake, but this is for like the 01 to 05, 06 trucks. But that should work just fine on the Caprice. I think this is what most people use anyway. It was like $60. And then, oh, my boy PJ made me some 3D printed stuff for 2 USB-C chargers in the factory ashtray. So it looks like stock, but then you can charge stuff. And this is going to keep my kids from putting candy wrappers and wet peppermints and stuff in the ashtrays. So I got 4 of those, so I'm kind of hyped about that. And then I have an upcoming video on the fuel system stuff. So I got the fuel system stuff. I won't be running this cheap Corvette style return regulator, because I heard that these are absolutely terrible. But the kit, I believe, was still cheaper buying it as a kit rather than buying all the stuff separate. And then I got some additional fittings and stuff that I will need, as well as a mini tube cutter, because I need to cut the ends. I think I need to cut the ends off of the fuel send module, so I can put the tube to AN6 fittings on here. I think I need to cut these back. I need to cut right behind that press to fit lock, so I can put the tube to AN6 fittings. So I have a video that I'll be doing later on that is going to go over how my fuel system is set up, what comes in that Evil Energy kit, and what all you are going to need extra if you set it up the way I'm setting it up, which is going to be, I'm using the truck intake manifold, but I'm not using the return off the manifold, because if I decide to use a cart intake in the future, the cart intakes don't have the return off of the fuel rail. They use the Corvette style. So I figured I would go ahead and just run that down. That way, if I decide to go to a lower profile intake manifold in the future, I don't have to worry about undoing what I did and just spending extra money to return it off of the factory fuel rail. So yeah, this is all done. It looks nice. I like it because when I touch it, my hands aren't dirty and oily and greasy. I did take the Tesla tape and I did just wrap it around everything, all the junctions, just to make it look nicer, so you don't see a bunch of wires and stuff. So every junction where you would have saw the wires from the stuff splitting, I just kind of taped up around it, just to kind of make it look nicer. And if something does happen, if we have like a little fire or something, it'll help protect the wires and the harness a little bit better. But yeah, this is gonna be it for this episode. Next episode, I don't know. It's cold. It's like 40 degrees out here. Wintertime, and I don't know how much I'm going to get done with it being cold outside, because I don't enjoy being cold outside. If I could find a way to get the Caprice in my grandfather's garage, that would be perfect. But I just don't know if that's going to happen. So it might be some slow progress up until it warms up a little bit. But yeah, this is going to be it. Just going to use the truck harness. If it was drive-by cable, I would use drive-by cable harness, but it's not. But also, speaking of drive-by cable harnesses, I do have a giveaway live, I think until the second Saturday in December. It is a LS swap starter kit. And let me get the stuff pulled out real quick, and I'll be right back. All right. So for this LS swap starter kit, like I said, if you're doing an LS swap, you're probably gonna need these parts. So what we have is a Amazon special 302-2 swap oil pan. And I have this because I had to use the 302-1 for my Caprice. So this is used, but not really. I bolted it up to the motor, but nothing's ever been ran through it. So it comes with that. It comes with the gasket, the pickup tube, the hardware, O-ring for the pickup tube. Also is going to be the Mailing M355, brand new. I would use the Mailing O-ring instead of the one that comes with the kit. Brand new oil pump, never used, never installed. And then I do have the Amazon eBay special Gen 3 0106 drive-by cable wire harness, never installed because my motor is a drive-by wire. And it does come with bolts to mount the fuse block, and it also comes with the fuel injector adapters, because I think on the harness is for the car injectors, and this is the adapter for the truck injectors. So $20 per entry, 25 entries. So if you want to get into that to help me and the channel and the build, because I have these parts laying around that I can't use, and it would be nice to give my subscribers and my followers a chance to get started, and also a chance to progress their LS swaps for $20. So, you know, a lot of these big giveaways, your chances are slim to none. You know, they got 100,000 people entering these for $1 per item bought, and you know, then they'd be like, oh yeah, well this week we're gonna do 10,000 entries for every $1 bought. Then your chance go down the drain. This, you have a 1 in 25 chance. 1 in 25. You're not gonna have any better odds than 1 in 25. 1 in 25 right here. So if it doesn't fulfill by the second week, the second Saturday in December, I'm just gonna take it down, and I'm just gonna try to sell this stuff individually, which is probably gonna take 6 months. So yeah, like everything you do, think, build, enjoy. Buy a ticket for the LS swap starter kit. Link will be in the description, and it'll probably also be pinned in the top comment. Peace.